Hi everyone, it's Mithril and welcome back to my journey of learning to draw. First of all, new microphone, yay! And second of all, I bought this random drawing figurine from Aliexpress and I figured we can give it a first look together here on this video. So basically, I've been talking to this artist lady and she has been so nice to me. I met her in a local Discord and she's actually a professional artist and she does commissions and she makes beautiful work, and she's been giving me a lot of really interesting advice on how to do art, especially observational techniques, what I should be looking for more whenever I'm doing my future drawings, and some books and videos that she recommended. And you know, me, always on my mind is, but how do I translate this to drawing from imagination? She said, well, I hate to burst your bubble, but most professional artists who draw things that, aren't straight from a picture still use a ton of references for their artwork. And cue me heavily sweating. I'm like, oh man, does that mean, what does that mean? I have to find the perfect reference all the time, or I need to hire 5 people to always stand there in the corner of my room to make sure I have the right thing? Or do I have to learn 3D modeling? And I'm like, man, it sounds like a lot. So looping back to drawing figures, I feel like if I have good quality drawing figures that I know I can always count on to help me with my art and be my reference, then it would make me feel a lot better, if you know what I mean, because I'll always be able to find a reference for the exact pose that I want. I don't have to be constrained to finding pictures of references that are close enough, although I'm sure that is a skill in and of itself, the art of combining different references together and making a whole new picture out of all of it. I don't know, in my art beginner logic, it makes sense that if I know that there's always a figure that I can pose in the way that I want to, plus I can look at it from any angle, right? The top angle, bottom angle, foreshortening and whatever, in the exact thing I have in my mind, then that would make me feel better. And so that's the initial groundwork for this. And so from there, I decided to go on Aliexpress because, I don't know, I felt like this was the kind of thing that they would have. And there were a bunch of really cheap ones that are probably really poor quality, but with the price, I was really curious as to what kind of stuff I could even get, what kind of quality do you get from a $6 figure plus shipping or whatever. And so I clicked on a bunch of them and I did, I don't know, whatever, window shopped. And I found this one, which I'm pretty sure is the cheapest one I could get that is shipped from within the United States. Because boom, if you ship it from China, it's only $13, but it's also gonna take 2.5 months to get here, which I did not have the patience for. I got it shipped from the United States and it came here in about 2 or 3 weeks or something, and I paid, what, 10 plus, about $17 for it, including shipping and everything, which I feel is kind of insane that they can even make it for that price and then get it to me and then still turn a profit. That's just crazy. Anyway, these pictures look really nice and they are also the same pictures on every other listing, so I know for sure that they stole these pictures, so they are probably not representative of the figure at all. But I did look at the customer reviews. There are 606 customer reviews and they seem, pretty positive. So I still have a little shred of hope that they can be usable. Dun, da, da, da. About 2.5 weeks later, my Figma figurines have arrived, and I know that these are not authentic whatsoever because there was zero mention of any sort of brand on the listing. I guess we will see how it is. So here is a bit of a closer look at exactly what came out of the envelope. I have 2 Figma figurine cases with the label and everything. They're taped together. It was like a dual pack for $17, which is kind of, modern manufacturing in China, I guess. I feel like this lady figure looks extremely awkward, and there was definitely like comments talking about how her neck was way too long, and I have to say, same, like what is going on with that neck? The male figure actually looks pretty promising. It looks pretty nice. Okay, so after a lot of effort, I finally got the two packages apart. I know nothing about the Figma figures that these are supposedly bootlegged from, so I don't know what the package is supposed to look like, but I feel like these pictures are really washed out and the packaging is pretty loose and not up to the standard that Figma probably would have. Let us take a look at this female figure first. I feel like the pose that she came in is quite possibly the most awkward thing you can possibly have. But on the other hand, like right before I started filming this, I looked up like a review of the legitimate Figma figurine, and she comes in just as awkward of a pose, which I think is kind of hilarious. Touching it, it's not, I don't know, it feels like it's not super hard plastic. It's got a sort of like rubbery texture to it. So shout out to Q, hello. On the stream yesterday, I was talking about my figurines that were coming in, and he said to be careful with the joints because they're known to be very delicate on these bootleg female figures. And I feel like it's definitely like hard to move the joints, and I'm like a little scared to force it anymore. So let me play around with this a little bit and see how it goes. Like, listen to these noises. That is not a fun noise that you want your elbow to be making. Her butt seems to be moving like independently of her torso and her legs. Oh no. I think her butt just fell off. There's these same spooky noises in the knees and in the feet. Her toes seem to move very smoothly and nicely though. I don't know, surprisingly or unsurprisingly enough. But yeah, her neck looks actually insane. Although, in the comments of like the other review video for the legitimate Figma, there was someone who was complaining about this problem on the bootleg figures, and they suggested a fix where you just like fucking yeet the neck deeper into the chest. So maybe I will give that a try too. And we have a stand here for more fancy poses. So let's see how well this fits into the figurine. Okay, so I just took her head off. Interesting. Yeah, but like, look at this. I don't know. I feel like this neck is just so big. It's just so big. I guess the tricky part is getting the neck back on without breaking this thing. Okay, it seems to have gone on relatively easily. I don't know. It's kind of winning me over. I was expecting something much, much worse than this. And I don't know. I feel like this could be a usable, like, drawing reference. I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this is definitely serviceable. Okay, let's try to swap out the hands and see how that works. It comes with 2 feet that do not have like the articulation in the toes. And it comes with 2 open hands and 2 like lightly closed hands. And I don't know if the quality is high enough to capture it here, but like these definitely have like a lot of artifacts on the edges where it wasn't cut cleanly all the way. But let's just try to swap out the for the open hands. Okay, I accidentally took off like the whole joint when I grabbed the hand. So it definitely, I don't know, it doesn't stay together very well, which I think is what Q was referring to. And there we go, new hands. You know, honestly, it's not that bad. Not bad at all. Is that bad to say for like some counterfeit, probably, product? Anyway, let's move on to the male version and see how that is. Here he is, very muscly. It's got like the same, I don't know, like plasticky texture. Like, if it doesn't feel like the parts themselves are actually very pliable, but like the surface is a little bit squishy. I don't know how to describe what's going on there. His neck is like wild too. Look how like muscly that is. Why are these figures like my skin tone? That's funny. So let's give him a try. You know what? I want to try and see if this figure will stand up on his own without the stand. I don't think that's possible. His feet are like way too like pointy. Maybe if yeah, this boy will not stand. Whereas the one in the like the legit review was able to stand up on its own. I'm just so scared of breaking this. Oh my gosh. I don't know if this is even supposed to move. I feel like it should be able to move, but it's like hard, which gives me great fear. Oh, it does move. Oh, this is so nerve-wracking because I don't want to break it. Looks like this boy's butt is also separate from the torso and the legs. And his butt is in danger of falling off. Boom, so now we have two figures. Oh, it has that noise. It's got this weird squeaky noise in the joints. That's like a little bit nerve-wracking. Oh no. I was trying to pose him and the knee just popped out. It doesn't look like I've made any permanent damage to any of the figures yet though. So that's nice. So let's see if I can get this guy to stand up. This stand does not want to stand, which is kind of concerning, but I think maybe I just don't know how to use them properly yet. Anyways, so here are the two figures. I don't know. I was coming into this expecting them to be like literal trash tier, but I feel like they could be useful. Like I could get some use out of them and I don't know, draw something potentially nice. So I guess I am going to try to recreate the poses that they have in the product listing and see if those are possible. And then I'm going to try and draw something fun with these. So I did some posing with the figures to try to recreate some of the poses from the listing. And I feel like I was pleasantly surprised by how I basically was able to recreate all the poses. I wasn't able to get them to stand up without their stands at all, which I think I saw in a different review of the actual non-bootleg figurines that they were able to do. But I feel like I got pretty close on the poses. I will say, however, that the poses that they did for the product listing mask a lot of the weirdness in the figures, I think, especially around the shoulder area. Like a lot of the poses are with the characters like being to the side, so you don't see like the front of the shoulders where it's kind of weird. Also, it's kind of hard to pose the figures exactly how you want. I think to do these set of 4 poses, it took me about 30 minutes to like get everything the way I wanted to, with the joints popping out, and like some of the joints are a little harder to move, so I had to be really careful because I didn't want to pull too hard and break the joins. But I got them to work out, So I think that was pretty cool. I also lost a left foot between yesterday and today, so I have no idea where that is now. Yeah, that was my mistake, leaving them out like that. Also, I have like a confession to make. I don't know, this feels really weird for me to say it, but I kind of thought that the figures would help more than they actually did. Well, I haven't drawn from them yet, so this is like, I don't know, my first impression. But I've always had issues with like stiff poses and things that look very anatomically uncomfortable. And I don't think these figurines are the solution to that at all, because as I was posing them, there's a million incorrect looking poses for every pose that looks really good. And plus, you know, you can like twist the arms all the way back, you can twist like joints out of place, you can twist the head all the way around. Just because you can do it in the figure doesn't mean it's like anatomically possible. So there's a lot of background knowledge to learn before being able to use these figurines to their fullest capability, which I think goes back to, you know, when artists tell you there's no shortcuts. It's just cold, hard practice. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess I got what I got. This feels really weird to say because it feels kind of dumb to think that, but I also feel like, you know, that's like the spirit of a lot of people's questions that I see and my own thought process. Like, what's the thing that'll help me? Like, what's the one thing that will just fix all the problems I have, other than practice and time, because who has time for that? But I don't know. The answer is maybe reference pictures, right? Of actual people, because you know that it's anatomically possible, but not a 3D model or a figure like this, because you still have to know how to make pleasing poses. Like, the figure doesn't do that for you. You can do all sorts of weird, wacky things with these figures that will not make a pleasing picture. So next up, I will think of something fun to draw. I will draw it without the reference, and then I will recreate the poses that I had in my mind using the figurines and draw it again using them.
おはよう。付き合いだして今日で1年よ。
もうどうでもいいよ。
よくそんなことが言えるな。君が僕を騙してることはわかってるんだ。だから何？全部あなたは悪いのよ。
終わりだね。
おはよう。付き合いだして今日で1年よ。
もうどうでもいいよ。
よくそんなことが言えるな。君が僕を騙してることはわかってるんだ。だから何？全部あなたは悪いのよ。
終わりだね。So, I feel like that was way too much fun for me to make. It combines every one of my hobbies, learning Japanese, voice acting, and drawing. I've always wanted to do stuff like this. Like, a huge inspiration to me learning to draw is Hamilton animatics, and I always felt like I wasn't ready to do it, but I don't know, I had an idea and I just went for it today. I don't know if it turned out the best, but I had so much fun doing it, and I made something at the end. I think this small experience has taught me that I have a lot to learn outside of drawing. Stuff like composition. When I first looked at my empty canvas, I was like, where do I put the people in a way that looks good? And I realized I need to learn that. And that has nothing to do with how good my drawing skills are, right? Like, I can draw stick figures in like a pleasing composition and it would look nice. I also need to learn how to video edit better. I've never used any sort of video transitions until I was trying to edit my little story thing. And so I think bolstering that up would improve my videos a lot. So overall, I feel like the figures were super useful and it was great. It both helped me draw the people better and it allowed me to do more ambitious poses that I would never try to draw on my own because I just know they wouldn't turn out well. Unfortunately, I have a casualty. This guy's arm joint just completely snapped off. So 2 days in, I have lost a foot for the lady and I've lost an arm for the dude. So, okay, the foot was my fault, but I don't think I was pushing that hard on the elbow joint. Anyway, so that's the conclusion. Day 2, and this guy's arm has fallen off. I guess I will use the figure as much as I would regularly and use it as a drawing tool and use it to practice, and I will update you on when these figures become unusable. I have a feeling it might be soon because, yeah, they're just not that well built. But it does really make me want, like, a figure that's actually good quality. They're just so expensive that I just can't justify the cost to myself right now, but maybe one day. And if you are wondering why I chose this particular subject matter for my little skit animation thing, I have this book, which is a Japanese phrase book, which are phrases related to relationships, and I just put a bunch of them together to make some sentences, and I thought it was hilarious. So overall conclusion, figures, great tools to help with art. These particular figures, maybe not, but I kind of want to try the real ones and compare them to the knockoffs because I would love to have some figures like this that are actually quality and can stand up to repeated use because I can see them being super useful. And I really wish I had something like this in the past. Thank you all for joining me on my drawing figurine journey today. I hope everyone has a wonderful day and remember that talent is a myth. See y'all next time!